Hi everyone, it's Becca with the Football for Rookies podcast. We are back here with another episode. I hope you all are having a great morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are and whenever you're watching this. Um, I had to take a quick pause for a second. My cat Callie was in here with me, and she was laying in her bed and everything, and then all of a sudden she decided she wanted to explore, and I don't trust that girl to do anything, so I had to kick her out of my room. Anyway, I hope you're having, I think I already said this, I hope you're having that lovely morning, evening, afternoon, night, whenever you're watching this. I hope you're having a great May. I know it's speaking of May, so I hope that's great. So before we get into this week's episode, which is honestly going to be a lot of fun, I know I previewed it on my social medias yesterday, but be sure to listen to my last episodes. We are now on episode 5, which is insane. However, we have done NFL free agency, we have done the competition committee, we have done the NFL draft, and then last week we went and looked at all 32 NFL teams. I probably left a few things out. I am so sorry. Last week, that episode was a pain in the butt to do. I, instead of hitting pause like I just did to let Callie out, I hit stop, and then I tried to edit, like, both things together, and it didn't go well. It did not work whatsoever. So it kind of posted as a video, and I was too lazy to go fix it because I couldn't export it without the video. Yeah, so that happened. Anyway, it's all fine. We're into this week. Be sure to also look at my social medias. My Instagram is at football for rookies, football.for.rookies, and my TikTok is just football for rookies. I'm gonna have to mess with the TikTok. I think I might be able to like make the usernames coherent. I'm hoping. So that tag is like super easy for me and everything, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I've been trying to post more on my Instagram and TikTok, not necessarily like more active, more or less, instead of just posting graphics that I make in Canva, I'm now trying to make more reels. The weather is beautiful. I mean, it's like rainy and 50 degrees out. I think it's in the 50s. Let's double check. It's like rainy and stuff, but like when the sun's out, it's awesome. It's currently 56 degrees out, so it's like chilly and everything. However, it like is awesome because I'm then able to go outside and film some cool TikToks. Yeah, I filmed both the promo that went out yesterday, well, the teaser that went out yesterday, and then tomorrow's video I filmed yesterday. And I'm hoping to do more of that. For anyone watching this, if there is any video ideas that you have that you want me to do, by sure, let me know. I will. I'm planning on doing like all kinds of different reels. I have an idea for during football season other than just like posting episodes and everything. I have a bunch of ideas planned. And I know I've said multiple times that I have a bunch of like future episodes planned. I have a bunch of like social media content planned and everything. So like I'm trying my best. I know I said last week that if I don't have a video every week, it's fine. I have a lot going on, so life happens, shit happens, we'll make it work. So there's all that rambling, but this week we're going to be diving deeper into something we talked about last week. So last week we were obviously going through all 32 NFL teams, talking about where they're located, their head coaches, their quarterbacks, interesting things about them, yada, yada, yada. However, I did touch a little bit last week on this. We are going to be talking about NFL rivalries this week. I know I said one of the things I talked about last week was usually in every division, the teams are rivals. So we'll take the AFC North, for example. Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Bengals. Those 4 are specifically rivals, like really big. They did a whole Hard Knocks season on them, for crying out loud. Like that's the first division that has had a season to themselves instead of it just being one team. But there's more than just division rivals. There's like team rivals where like teams hate each other, fans hate each other. So yeah, I'm gonna grab ye old trusty iPad and we're gonna get into it. So this is this week's episode. I don't even know what I'm titling this. It's in my notebook somewhere. Where's my notebook? Because I always say the titles of my videos my podcast episodes whenever I'm talking about them. So this week is Inside the Rivalries. Why these teams hate each other. Cool. Oh, the app that I'm literally using to get my notes, Word, is updating at the moment. So this is fun. I was just literally in the thing. Oh, I hate technology sometimes. I can talk about this too for 5 seconds. Why does technology suck? Like, just let me be able to open Word. Because I can't see it from the... Okay. Alright, here we go. So I have a list, and it is broken up into 3 separate groups. We have historic and long-standing rivalries. We have modern and emerging rivalries. And then we have the historic playoff rivalries. So there's not that many. I mean, there's probably a lot more. I was just strapped for time on some research on this. One of them specifically, I did talk about last week. I know for a fact what I talked about. And the one I talked about last week and one of the other ones I mentioned in my reel that I posted yesterday. So, like, full circle moment. We're learning that NFL knowledge. So we're going to start with the historic and long-standing rivalries. First and foremost, we have the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. So the first game was in 1921, which this makes it the longest running rivalry in the NFL. If I remember correctly, the Bears were like the first established team in the NFL, so I mean, that's cool. The fuel for their rivalry, proximity, Chicago and Wisconsin, Green Bay specifically, aren't that far. There's that. Tradition and sustained competition. I cannot talk. Personal opinion here. I don't know how there can be sustained competition when the Bears are usually top 5 pick of the draft. The Packers aren't that far off from that usually, so there's that. Statistics. Over 200 matchups. The series was neck and neck for decades, though Green Bay has pulled ahead in recent years. They drafted Jordan Love. They got rid of Aaron Rodgers. They're gonna be good. Okay. Memorable moments. The 2011 NFC Championship game. The Green Bay Packers beat the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. That is the Bears' home field, like we talked about last week. En route to winning Super Bowl... That's a great question. Whatever Super Bowl 2011 was. Or whatever. I don't know Roman numerals right. Oh, that looks like 45? Here, let me Google it. X, letter V, Roman numerals. 45, hell yeah, okay. I'm not the best with Roman numerals. I know 10 is X. So, I got that far. Why it matters. These teams symbolize old school football, and the rivalry helped shape the league itself. I think specifically I put old school football here just because of the fact that they are the longest running matchup in the NFL. My cat started scratching at my door after I quite literally just kicked her out, but she'll get over it. Okay, next one we have the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington Commanders. The Commanders, now formerly known as the Redskins, but it's the same team, just a different name. Their first game was in 1960. The fuel. Oh, here we go. I did not know this. Okay. Cultural clash. America's team versus a deeply loyal East Coast fan base. So, America's team, everyone's always called the Cowboys America's team. I honestly don't know why. They used to be good. My partner is currently sending me pictures of horses. Okay. They used to be good. But in most recent years, since they got rid of, Jerry Jones, Jerry Jones is, that's their owner. They got rid of the one player they had. They got Dak Prescott. They're not that good anymore. So there's that. An East Coast fan base, they're literally DC. Commanders are literally in DC. Like, it was just announced yesterday by Adam Schefter that DC is hosting the 27 NFL draft. Like, yeah, anyway. Tension points. Feuds between owners, Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder, and frequent prime time games. Now, the Cowboys usually do get prime time games. I think it is because they're known as America's team. Thanksgiving, they always have the 8 p.m. Thanksgiving game because they always get the Thanksgiving performance. Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, everyone knows them. Everyone loves to hate them. You watch the documentary on Netflix, you're not going to hate them. Yeah, if you watch the documentary with Dallas Cowboys Steelers, it's America's Sweethearts, it's really good. I used to be one who hated on the cheerleaders. I no longer do after watching that, but whatever. Memorable moments. In 1982, they were still known as the Commanders, the Redskins at this point. Washington beat Dallas in the NFC Championship to reach and later win Super Bowl XVII. I have no idea. That's something. Well, what year is it? So it's like 20 years before the last one. Hold on. We can Google again. XVII. Roman numeral. That is 18. Oh, okay, cool. Why it matters. Both teams have large national fan bases, making every matchup feel massive. I wouldn't say they have large fan bases. I don't know why I put that. They don't have the largest. There's other teams who have bigger, but whatever. Okay, this one we talked about last week. I talked about it a little bit. Didn't really go into much detail. The Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. So their first game was in 1996, which was the first season for the Ravens. Physical smash mouth AFC football, constantly good teams. So, like going off of what I said in the beginning of this episode and what we talked about last week, the AFC North is honestly, in my opinion, the most competitive division in the entirety of the NFL. Especially now that, like, after the draft, we see where teams and players are standing and everything. It's going to be a great season for the AFC North. Like, 100%. But another thing I talked about last week was that when it comes to this, there is, like, I guess what would you call it? A ranking. Not a ranking. Like, I don't know what the word I'm thinking of is. I'm blanking. But, like, how many times each team has beat each other, like a standing. Surprisingly, the Steelers have beat the Ravens more than the Ravens have beat the Steelers. And that's why it's usually like a big deal during these games. Like, I mean, I've said this multiple times before. I go to college in downtown Pittsburgh. When it's a Ravens-Steelers game, you know it's a Ravens-Steelers game. Like, yeah, any other game, it's going to be a big deal, whatever. But, like, it's not the same as a Ravens-Steelers game. So we have some notable players that come from these. We have Troy Polamalu. If you don't know Troy Polamalu, you need to learn Troy Polamalu. He is very not well known for jumping over lines. Like, there would be like a defensive line, he would just jump over it. He did that multiple times. He's retired. But Ray Lewis, I believe he is a Ravens player. I could be wrong. Ben Roethlisberger. If you do not know who Big Ben is, he is like the paramount of quarterbacks that defined my generation. I saw a meme right after he retired, I believe. And it was like the 6 main quarterbacks from Ben retired in 22. So it was like from like 2004 until then, because Roethlisberger was drafted the year I was born. Funny enough. I don't remember who the 6th one is, but it was Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, and there's one more that I can't remember, like, no matter what. And they all were retired. Ben was the last one to retire, so, like, whatever. Ed Reed, I think he's another Ravens player. If you ever want to listen to a good podcast promoting other people's podcasts, listen to Footballin' with Ben Roethlisberger during the season. Entertaining. Memorable moments. We have the 2008 AFC Championship. Steelers beat the Ravens and then later won Super Bowl. Again, don't know my Roman numerals. I think that's 43. Which would sound about right, yeah. Why it matters. Okay. This specifically is what I was getting at. No rivalry in the NFL is more defined by pure intensity and respect than this one. As much as these teams, quote unquote, hate each other, the respect is so good. I mean, John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin, they're basically buddies. Like, you gotta. Okay, so this was one that I talked about yesterday in my reel that I posted. The New York Giants versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Their first game was in 1993, almost. Hell, we're getting close to that being 100 years ago. That's insane. The Fuel, NFC East bragging rights, and East Coast fan hostility. these are two crazy fan bases. Like, it's not the Bills. No one's ever gonna be Bills Mafia. But the Giants and the Eagles, oh, they have rivalry. And East Coast literally two East Coast teams. Like, one's in New York, one's in Philly. Clearly. Recent history. Eagles have dominated in the 2010s and 20s, including a big win in the 2022 playoffs. One of the things I said yesterday, which I'm just going to be going back to this reel, because I spewed some good shit in that reel, was Saquon Barkley. He was drafted from Penn State to the Giants. And honestly, personal opinion, the Giants wasted him. He had so much talent coming out of Penn State. So much. And I am honestly glad the Eagles got him, because the Eagles got him. He broke so many records with the Eagles. And then they won the Super Bowl, for crying out loud. That is honestly my favorite trade. But however, whenever he did sign with the Eagles, Giants fans said that he betrayed the Giants. And he's like, I did not do that. I just signed with the team that was good for me. I did not do that, but whatever. Memorable moments. The Miracle in the Meadowlands. 1978. Eagles win on a last-second fumble recovery. And then why does this one matter? This rivalry runs deep in Northeast sports culture. You can't talk to anyone without knowing about this rivalry. This one and the Eagles have another rivalry. It's pretty sure is on. No, it's not on here. We're going to be talking about that one. Because I have some that aren't on here. The one that I was referring to isn't on here, but whatever. So we're now going to go to the modern and emerging rivalries. So I think the NFL kind of started doing this one. It wasn't necessarily like the fans or the teams themselves who started doing this one. I think it was more the NFL. The NFL started pushing this motive that like these two teams are rivals. Honestly, let me know your thoughts on this one. I don't know if I would count it as a rival, but anything. We have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. The fuel playoff collisions and QB star power. We have Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. Some notable games from these two teams. 2021 AFC Championship. So, with that game specifically, that was when LA won, I believe, because they played the Rams. Yeah. No, they played the Chargers because it was Justin Herbert. Yeah. That was the year after Joe Burrow had tore his ACL. His first game, one of his first games playing, he tore his ACL, and then he was out. And then this was the year that he got comeback player, I believe. But Bengals upset the Chiefs in overtime. And then the 2022 AFC Championship, Chiefs win and head to the Super Bowl. This is when they were trying to start their three-peat. They won this year, they won the next year, and then they lost this year. Nicknames. Fans have dubbed it Burrowhead after Burrow's dominance at Arrowhead Stadium. That makes sense. Okay. Why it matters. Two elite teams with future Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Every game feels like a playoff preview, which is accurate because both of these teams are really good teams. I'm not the biggest fan of the Chiefs. Not because of drama or pop culture shit or anything. Just honestly, their team morale sucks. Okay, now we're going to go to the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. Historic AFC East battles going back to the 1970s. Now revived with Josh Allen and Tua Tagovailoa. I think that's how you say it. Again, I'm not good at names. Peak history. In the 1990s, it was Jim Kelly versus Dan Marino. Now it's Allen versus the speed of Miami. Tyreek Hill, who is their wide receiver for Miami, that dude is fast. I mean, he has how many kids? So, he's extremely fast. He's a very fast wide receiver. He's not the fastest in the NFL by any means, but he's extremely fast. So, whatever. A memorable moment. In 1992, AFC Championship. Bills routed the Dolphins on the way to Super Bowl, 27? I think. Let me do some Googling on this one as well. I should probably get better with Roman numerals. I have never been good with Roman numerals. Yeah, 27. And then what is this one? These games now regularly decide the division. These two, especially in recent years, have really popped out in their division. So they are the AFC East. No, they are not the AFC East. They are not. Those, well, kind of. Hold on. Let me check my notes from last week. It's right here. Oh, they are the AFC East. That makes no sense. First of all, someone needs to redo these things, because you have New York, then you have Florida, Boston, and then New York. That makes no sense. Okay, maybe. Okay, then for the last one of the modern rivalries, we have the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. This is fueled by coaching drama. We have John Harbaugh versus Pete Carroll. John Harbaugh is it's Harbaugh versus Carroll. I think it was Jim Harbaugh, not John. Neither of these coaches work for these teams now. Pete Carroll is now with the Raiders, and Harbaugh is now with the Chargers, I believe. And then playoff tension. These two are always, well, they used to always be. Yeah. The best era is the early 2010s. Both were elite teams in the NFC West. So that was before, what's his face? Russell Wilson was with them. Memorable moments. 2013 NFC Championship. Seahawks Richard Sherman made a game-saving tip, followed by his infamous post-game rant. I don't know what that rant is on the top of my head. I should probably Google it, because that sounds like it'd be fun. Good old football rant is always fun. You can Google it and see what the rant was. I don't know what it is on the top of my head. Why it matters. Every game is gritty, dramatic, and often has playoff implications. Especially, it used to be a lot like this when the Seahawks, they've gone through a lot the past couple years, so. But we'll have to see. I mean, the 49ers have done great. They have Purdy now, quote-unquote, Mr. Irrelevant, and then he blinds everyone and does really good. Yeah. So then we're going into the historic playoff rivalries, especially this first one. I don't know as much as the second. Oh, yeah, never mind. The second one's good. Yeah. And then I have the one that I said I was going to talk about last. So we have 3 more that are very prominent. So first off, we have the New England Patriots versus the Indianapolis Colts. This one specifically during the early 2000s and early 2010s. And the fuel, this is why they are such big rivalries. You have 2 of the greatest quarterbacks ever to play in the NFL. Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. These 2 basically defined the NFL. Well, one's AFC, one's NFC. But, these 2 had Peyton doesn't really have as many playoff appearances in the Super Bowl as Brady does. But, still good. So, some memorable games between the 2 of them. The 2006 AFC Championship. Colts rally from 21-3 to win and reach the Super Bowl. Let me grab my phone again, because there's another Roman numeral. What is it? XLI. What? Oh, 41. Okay, and then the regular season games often decided the 1 seeds. I think for a hot minute, because the Colts are NFC, the Patriots are AFC. I think for a hot minute, these 2 were the teams that, were always Super Bowl contenders. Because my early childhood, that's when Peyton was with the Colts. When I remember him playing, especially the season he retired as a Bronco. That's what I remember him as. I remember his brother, Eli, with the Colts, though. I think he was with the Colts for a little bit. Because I know he was with the Giants for the longest time. And I think he was played for the Colts. Okay, let me do another Google. Can I just see what teams he played for? Oh, Giants. I don't think he played for the Colts then. Was he with the Giants for his whole season career? Let's look. Yeah, he was with the Giants for his whole career. Never mind. I thought he was with the Colts for the longest at one point. Okay, never mind. Why this matters, this helped define a golden era of quarterback play in the NFL. This is also when Eli was playing, Roethlisberger, Drew Brees. I don't know who that other quarterback was. And honestly, I wish I would have saved it. I don't think I did. Because every time I, talk to anyone about something like this, I'm like, oh, I wonder who that last quarterback is. Because it's someone who's retired. It's not like Cam Ward or anything like that. So, I don't know who it is. Lastly, for historic playoff rivalries, we have the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. Legendary playoff clashes in the 80s, 90s, and again in 2020s for their fuel. It doesn't happen often that the Cowboys make the playoffs. They usually are like the Steelers and get defeated in the wild card, whatever. So memorable games. We have the catch in 1982, Dwight Clark's iconic game-winning touchdown. The 1990s met in 3 straight NFL championships. 1994. Oh my goodness. This is what happens when I talk too fast. Like, I am a broadcast major. I have been like grilled about talking too fast, and here I am talking too fast. 1992, 1993, and then again in 1994. And then 2022 and 2023 playoffs, 49ers win back-to-back postseason matchups. Now, why does this matter? These teams are iconic. I don't know if the Cowboys are iconic. And their rivalry often shapes who represents the AFC in the Super Bowl, which is accurate. Not really much this year, though, because I think the Cowboys were eliminated even before the playoffs. Like, they were not one of the 12 teams to make it to the playoffs this year, I do not think. I think I talked about this last week, but the Jones family putting that much fucking trust in Dak Prescott is sad because he's not that good. He puts the money where his mouth is. Everyone says that he's good, but he signed another 5-year deal where they could they can draft Archie Manning, who is the nephew of Peyton and Eli. They could draft him next year and they'd be fine. I mean, he's not going to fall too far, I don't think, but we'll see. Then the last rivalry I want to talk about, which I'm surprised I didn't put it on here. I think I meant to, and then life happened and I didn't realize I didn't do it. The Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. There is no bigger rivalry than this one. I mean, the Cowboys have a lot of rivalries because they have a spurt with the Steelers at one point too. But every single time I talk to anyone who's watching that game, they're always saying how it's such a big game and everything. Like, I'll Google, are the Cowboys, I was just talking about how I can't talk, and the Eagles, and now I can't, type either. So I just Googled, are the Cowboys and the Eagles rivalries? The rivalry has been filled with bitterly contested games that are typical of the NFC East. These matchups have been the most frequently featured on NFC Sunday Night Football, where the total is 16. And with the series between the two of them, the Cowboys lead 74-58. I think the Cowboys are honestly one of the most teams on Sunday Night Football for some reason. I don't know why. I really don't. I'm going to see if the Steelers is on here too. Because I know, they're considered rivals in the NFL. Despite having different conferences, they have a long history of intense competition, including 3 Super Bowl matchups. The Cowboys and Steelers have met 33 times total, with the Cowboys leading an all-time 17-16. Both teams established dynasties in the 1970s, further solidifying their rivalries. Despite being in different conferences, their games are still considered meaningful, especially with their shared history of Super Bowl appearances. I want to see what the Ravens and Steelers, series number is. Oh, here we go. Okay. Thank you. This is exactly what I needed. Okay. Despite the relatively recent inception of rivalry in 1996, the Steelers rivalry is widely considered one of the most iconic and fiercest rivalries in the NFL today. The Steelers lead the overall series 36-27. The teams have met 5 times in the playoffs, with the Steelers holding a 3-2 record. That, honestly... Oh, Joe Flacco might have been... No, Joe Flacco's still playing. That's not the quarterback it was. Definitely not the quarterback it was. Yeah. So the Steelers are currently winning that, which is kind of insane because, the Steelers have not been that good since Roethlisberger left. So, I mean, they're trying. Definitely trying. The largest victory between the two, first one is 35-7 in 2001. And then we have in 1997, we have 37-0. The longest winning streak between the two. The Ravens won 4 games back to back, 2014 to 2016. The Steelers had 2 spurts of winning 5 games. 5 back to back. 1997 to 1999, and then 2001 to 2003. And the Ravens currently have a win streak against the Steelers. Last year they won both of their matchups, so 2004 to present. The one was really close though. I do know that the one was extremely close. Anyway, that is this week's episode talking about NFL rivalries. I hope Yins enjoyed it. I love talking rivalries just because, like, then you know what games. Because I mean, any NFL game matchup is gonna be good. You don't have to think about that. That's obviously gonna be a given. However, you know that a game is gonna be good when it's a rival game. Like, I do watch my fair share of football. Don't get me wrong. I especially watch these games though because they're so entertaining. You know the fans are gonna be like insane because like it's a rival game and everything. But that is it for this week's episode. I hope y'all enjoyed. Be sure to check out my past episodes on my Spotify. Be sure to look at my Instagram and my TikTok. Instagram football.for.rookies and TikTok is football for rookies. And click the link in the bio. You can even keep up with me if you want. I have my professional Instagram tagged in the bio of my Instagram. So see what I'm doing at school and everything. Right now I only have one thing. I have a Pittsburgh Pirates package that I made. But other than that, yeah, that's it. I will maybe, I don't know. We'll see if I can do another episode on the 14th or not. We'll see. Depends on how this week goes and everything. But whenever I do my next episode, I will see y'all then. And this has been Football for Rookies, the NFL basics without the fumbles. Bye, guys.